Hey there, everybody. It's Kat and Ange again. We are currently sitting on Angela's couch. It's freezing cold. We've got hot drinks, and we're about to launch into a really good conversation. So we thought we should hit record before we do it. Um, and I guess if we had to summarize where we're going, is along the lines of like home, belonging, and what that means, how it shifts as a single woman in perimenopause, postmenopause, and just trying to find home in our bodies. So it's going to be a whole lot of all over the map today. So buckle in, get yourself a hot drink, and join us on the couch.
But as I was thinking about it, it's not just how to feel like home in your body as a single woman in her 50s. We also have to think about the empty nesters, right? Because this is around the time when the kids start going
Yep.
off to school and your whole reality shifts.
Well, and again, like always, we bring similar experience, similar stuff we're going through, but different perspectives.
Yeah. So just in case people listen to the first part and go, "Oh,
I'm not
this isn't
single.
me."
Yeah.
No, it is you too.
It is you.
It is you. It's anybody who's going through the change and trying to figure out who you are in this new reality that's being created.
Yeah, for sure.
And like, what does that look like?
So you were about to say something.
I was about to say, like, just going through, like, we were just talking about, how it's a full-time job to be going through perimenopause and trying to just juggle everything. And what I had said to Kat, well, I was starting to say to Kat before we decided to push record, was as a single person, in a way, I think we have it a little bit easier sometimes because when I come home from work, there's nobody here. So this becomes my sanctuary, my actual physical home becomes my sanctuary. And I can do whatever I want, whenever I want, and I don't have to worry about anybody else. Whereas somebody who is living with somebody else has to be concerned with that other person. And if you're a mother and you've got kids and a husband, oh my God, like you leave the stress of work.
Yeah.
You come home, and it's not like you can just come home, kick off your shoes, and pass out on the couch.
Yeah.
You actually have to now function as a mom. Like, when do you have time for you?
So I can speak to that. So my son's 19, he's off at university now. But and I single mommed for at least 10 years. And at the time I was also juggling chronic pain, which is, less perimenopause is less painful, but equally as consuming. I ended up staying up later because it was the only time in the day that I could have time alone. So for me, it was a a welcome sacrifice to sacrifice some of my sleep to have time alone. And that's not ideal, but I do know some moms who get up earlier. That was not going to be me at the time. Because you're right. And the other thing I think I will openly speak about is when I was losing weight or wanted to lose weight after I had Luke. That's my son. I decided I needed to change the way I ate. And my husband at the time had really no interest in changing. So that's the other thing I think a lot of women going through perimenopause are juggling is I want to get healthier, but I don't have the support at home. And, when I work with clients, I always kind of feel like I'm tiptoeing around this. And here I am now going to say it on a podcast. So, I made the decision at the time to change how I ate, and I just did it. And sometimes that meant my husband at the time was cooking his own dinner, or he would eat what I made and then he'd get up and make a grilled cheese sandwich, which was brutal. Nothing smells better than a grilled cheese sandwich when you're trying to not eat carbs. And looking back on it now, I can honestly say that not sharing a meal was one of the beginnings of the kind of the things that started to pull us apart and eventually ended our marriage. You know, there is something to be said about being able to share a meal. So yeah, I definitely, I don't know. I think the grass is green on both sides of the fence, let's be honest. Like there are things that I really am like, thank God I live alone. Like I don't have the energy to wash the dishes and nobody's yelling at me for not cleaning up. Or, you know, I want to eat carnivore for the next 6 months and see what that looks like, and I don't have to have any carbs in my house because it's just me, right? But there's also nobody that shares the chores. Like, so when you are exhausted and you don't want to wash your dishes, guess what? Your house is messy until you have the energy to do it. So I don't know. I think where I've landed is there's no perfect scenario.
No.
And at the end of the day, nobody really is coming to save you, whether you're married or not.
Nope. The only one is the person in the mirror.
Yeah. And I think that's what I'm struggling with right now is like when I lost weight after my son was born, I really wanted to be like the parent who could play in the park with their kid and go on bike rides and pick him up and go to the lake and play in the waves. And so I had a huge motivation that was bigger than look good in a bikini. And I don't have a big push this time, and I'm tired. And like I think for me, I need to figure out, and I get it. We say it all the time that I want to age differently than my mom did, that all the beautiful places in the world aren't right off the highway, so you have to be able to hike to get them. But my goodness, that doesn't seem to be enough to keep me motivated to, and maybe there's just too many moving pieces. You know, like eat more protein, get your steps in, manage your sleep, you know, look at your hormone levels, manage your stress, eat more fiber, you know,
lift weights,
but don't lift too heavy or too often.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know, how are you feeling like you're navigating this, all the pieces? And do you have like a big why that's keeping you motivated to do them all?
Well, I think for me, my big why is honestly the travel is enough for me. That's my big why. But it's not even just the travel, it's the fact that I'm doing it for me. I'm not doing it for anybody else. I don't care about anybody else. This sounds horrible, but just follow along with me right now. I don't care about anybody else right now, right? All my life, I have been a rescuer. All my life, I have taken care of everybody else, and I have worried about everybody else to my detriment. Part of the reason I'm in the mess that I'm in is because I always put off my doing things for me for other people. And I've had a big aha, I guess, in the last year or so, that is like, I'm worth it. I am worth it. And I am doing this because I want to take care of myself. And for me, that was really hard to wrap my head around. Like, am I being selfish?
Right.
Because I'm putting my needs before other people's. And, you know, you always say, oh, fill your cup before. To me, that was all bullshit. That was just something. Oh, I'm swearing.
Yeah, that's
you need
fine.
to put a caveat that there's swear words.
It's okay. If you know you and I, people should know there's going to be swearing.
But some people don't know.
Well, welcome to knowing us.
Yeah. Anyways, so I would say it and I would write it and I would tell people it. And in the back of my head, I'd be like, whatever. But now I'm like, I get it. I actually physically get it. And so I want to be able to be a beacon for other people. Okay, so that's why I say, like, stick with me on this, right? Because I'm not saying I don't care about other people. I do. But the only way I can be a beacon to other people and give people hope that there is a way through this is to actually get through it.
Yes. Yes. So, in a sense, you're having your I want to be able to play with my kid in the park moment that I had 19 years ago.
Correct, but it's a little different because it's not so outwardly focused as inwardly focused. And just like you said, you've done it before, right? It's not like you've never lost weight before. It's not like you've never been healthy before. I mean, not that we're not healthy right now, but if you step on the scale yells at you and says, oh, you're not healthy. Whatever, scale. You don't know from jokes. So I guess I'm getting a little bit passionate about this because it's like, it's important to me. That's why. And it's like, I've done this before. The rules have changed a little bit.
Yeah, they have.
Right? So we just need to learn the new rules.
Yeah.
And then we're never really good at following rules anyways.
So we'll
learn what the rules are, figure out how to break them.
Yeah.
And do this for me because I want to be able to travel and I want to be able to show people that there's more.
Yeah. And I think, like, it is interesting because I don't feel like I've got a why in the moment. Like when, I'm sitting in my comfortable chair, engrossed in a project, I don't have the why to be like, now is the time that you go and do your workout. But when I sit and have conversations like this, I do have the why. Like, I was talking to a friend this week and we were talking about peptides. And, all the research is really, really great on men, but it's so all over the map for women. And in Canada, it's really hard to get them and, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, the result of this conversation was me being like, perimenopause and menopause isn't it's not working for women right now, and nobody knows what they should be doing, and there isn't like, not that I think there'll ever be like a magic pill that will work for everybody, but there's not even like an approximation of a magic spell that has, try these 5 ingredients, right? And I think I'm the same as you, is I'm like, I want to do this for me so that then I can be like, hey, these are the 5 things that worked for me. And kind of like, I thought the order had to be 1, 2, and 3, but it ended up being 3, 2, and 1. Because I just feel like I look at the women in my life, like clients, friends, acquaintances, like just other podcasts I listen to, eavesdropping in restaurants. And women are not happy. Like, we're not living, I think most of us aren't living the lives that we thought we were going to be living. Like, and I'm not saying all of us are walking around miserable. Like, and I have huge moments of my life where I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so good. But then I kind of look around and I'm like, I don't know. Like, there's too many of us who are like, what the heck? Caught myself. What the heck is going on here? Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't know how to work this technology that is my body anymore. And it gets frustrating. And I guess, talking about it out loud helps me be like, right, like, let's get after it.
And I think that's the other thing that's missing, right? It's the community. And we talk about the community and we talk about how important it is to have the community. And that's why we do our events and our retreats, right? So we pull women together, which we have one coming up in March, by the way.
March 28th, 2026. So if you are listening to this in the future, it may be in the past. So you should follow us so that you never miss another retreat.
Right. Or check out our website.
sacredexplorers.com.
There we go. Okay, that was a shameless plug. But it's important, right? So so coming back, now we probably should come back to this whole home concept, right?
Yes.
I think home is your safe place. And for most of us, when we're going through the change, we don't feel safe in our bodies anymore because we don't even know what the heck is going on.
And from like a scientific place, our body's not even coding safety inside anymore.
Correct.
Because when estrogen goes down, cortisol goes up, and when cortisol's floating around in your body, it's not a safe place.
No. You're in your fight or flight mode consistently.
Yes. And I think for some of us, I don't know if this is true for you, but for me, with the lack of estrogen floating around, I've actually realized I'm not certain I've lived very much of my life in a body that has felt safe.
I don't even know what safe is.
Okay, so
you're not alone. And I think a lot of people don't even realize what's happening or what has been happening. And it's only when you start to actually do the research and spend the time trying to figure it all out that you start to go, OMG.
Yeah. And actually this week I had I have a real living moment of that OMG. You don't actually know this one. You're like pointing at me like you know the story I'm going to tell.
I thought it was the story about the snow.
No, we'll get there maybe.
Oh, another one.
No, this is a good one.
Oh, okay.
So I've discovered through menopause that I am a chronic undereater. So I grew up as a dancer and a figure skater, and I think I've been on a diet since I was 12. And, constantly being told I don't have the body shape to be a dancer and, blah, blah, blah. So I just I'm not, the whole 1,200 calories is like the gold standard, quote unquote, the gold standard for women. I'm not even certain I was consistently hitting 1,200. Like I would be happy at 800 to 900. So this has been eye-opening for me to be like, and I have a master's in nutrition. Hello, everybody. So it's not like education makes you wise. So I've been consistently focusing on getting more calories. And the other kind of myth, again, informed by my degree, is that you shouldn't eat late at night. That you need to so I would always get to the end of the day not having ate enough. My body would tell me it was hungry, and I'd be like, it's too late to eat, so you're just going to have to deal with being hungry. So even my sleep wasn't safe. Many, many times I can remember lying in bed, just hungry. So not able to relax. So last night my day was a little wonky for eating, and it was late, and I'm like, I'm hungry. And I'm like, I am not going to bed hungry because I scanned my day and I was like, oh yeah, I'm short on protein. So I had a little snack, nothing huge, all protein. And I sat, I did sit up a little bit longer just to digest, so I wasn't lying down. But I had this sense of peace come over my body, and not I'm numbed out peace, a general my body was safe. And I'm like, oh, this is what feeding myself feels like. There was not that, when wires lose the insulation, that frayed wire kind of that has what it's always felt like inside my body is that I've got a frayed wire. And I'm like, oh, I think I'm slowly getting this. And it's a new feeling. I don't quite know what to do with it yet. So yeah, that's been my example this week of showing up and feeding myself has actually started to show me how long I haven't felt safe in my body. So I don't know where that was going, where it came from, but
we were talking about home being safe and not being safe for extended periods of time, and that becomes the new normal. And so I think for me, what I found is when your cortisol levels start dropping. So, you know, once I started taking the estrogen and the progesterone, and my body started to sort of normalize, I guess, and the cortisol started to drop, and I started doing like putting my legs up on the wall and things like that. I'm doing all these weird things to try to bring the cortisol. I'm doing whatever. And so it's working though, because I never used to wake up hungry. And I wake up and my body's like, hey, not right away, but like when I'm been up for half an hour, my body's like, I think we could eat now, which never happened to me until like 11 or 12 o'clock, where my body's like, oh, maybe we should eat.
Yeah. And then me, I would then be like, you can make it another hour.
No, not me. When I get hangry. So, but I mean, so I've had to adjust my eating, you know, so that I start earlier and then I just spread my meals out. But that's another discussion. But where was I going with this? Oh, yes. I now find that I'm okay to sit.
Which is
anybody who knows me knows.
Yes.
I do not sit still for any period of time.
Even on vacation. We will go to Mexico and I'll be lying on the bed looking out at the ocean and she'll be like, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go to the bathroom. We should look at our checkout time. And I'm like, can you just lie down?
Nope. I lie down for 10 minutes and I must move. And I didn't realize what that was, you know, and now I come home and I'm okay with I don't even have to have the TV on. Like I can literally sit still in silence.
Yeah. Which I think, being somebody who also, now I've been able to do that for a couple of years,
right?
But the number of people that I work with who have so much fear come up with sitting in silence. So I don't know, maybe you could speak to that a little bit. I think for me, the silence used to force me to look at things that I didn't want to look at. And that took a while to be like, okay, if I'm going to sit in silence, like I'm going to have to look at these stories that I don't want to look at. Is that similar to why you couldn't sit, or would you not be able to know why?
I don't know. Probably part of it is I didn't want to deal with it, right? So again, yes, if you're sitting still long enough, then your brain catches up with you. If you're constantly going, your brain doesn't have time, because it's always like, don't hit the wall, don't, you know, like you're focused on like, you know, living, right? But yeah, I think, I mean, I always meditated in the morning, but I was able to sort of push those things out even in meditation. Like I'd be sitting in meditation and people are like, oh yeah, when meditation your brain goes still. It does not.
That's why it's called a practice.
And anybody who tells you that, whatever. I don't want to call people names. So, but the reality is that, yeah, even when I would be sitting in meditation, so what I would do is I'd be sitting there and then my brain would be like, oh, you got to do this and you got to do this and you got to do this. And I'd be like, stop thinking. And then I would be like, push it out. And then I'd be silent again. And then I'd be like, yeah, but blah, 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 blah. And it was just, like you said, it's a practice. So you just have to continue to practice pushing that stuff aside. But then eventually you got to deal with it.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like there's like, I think you can use meditation as a tool to quiet your brain and to work on bringing the cortisol down. And it's a wonderful practice. Both you and I teach and lead meditation. And it also can be another way to deflect away from actually looking in the mirror and looking at what you haven't dealt with. Like if you're just sitting and oming, it really is the same as like running on the treadmill for 45 minutes or keeping busy all the time or always having people around you. And I think, you know, oftentimes I'll start telling clients, like, just sit for 5 minutes with a cup of tea and like nothing, no screen, no music, no, like, look out the window. And sometimes 5 minutes is as long as people can handle at the beginning.
It's true. Like that's actually one of the tips I think we gave in one of our posts when we were talking about like what can you do to bring yourself, like, to calm yourself down and ground yourself back in. That was one of the things, is make yourself something warm, put your hands around it, and just focus on that. And just shut everything out.
And I think that's where the practice for both of us, at least, of journaling has been. So, like, oh my goodness, I don't even ever go back and read what I've written. It's like just the act of writing it and getting it out, and oftentimes crying, or being angry, or like feeling that like fully. I think for me, the other thing I've realized is I haven't allowed myself to fully feel an emotion all the way through. So like I'll start to feel sad. I might even like leak a little tear. And then I'll be like, I'm going to play a game on my phone, or I'm going to go make something comforting to eat, or I'm going to, insert whatever numbing technique. And I think that's the other thing is, in our lineage, we have like a teaching, a practice of fully feeling your feelings for 15 minutes. And anything past that is trauma. But I always wondered why the 15 minutes. And as I begin to practice that more regularly, you can feel it full. Like you can fully feel the experience of sadness, or you can fully let the anger run its course. And that actually moves it out. And I think that's another reason for me why my body hasn't felt like home for so long, is there's been a lot of emotion I haven't allowed out. And so sitting with that has been uncomfortable.
So I guess when you're single, it's one of the benefits is you can just have a meltdown anytime, right?
Yes.
But if you're surrounded by family, it's not that easy.
No, I did a lot of crying in the bathroom.
In the shower. I hear people say, oh, I just cried in the shower. And it's like, so I don't know. I mean, how do people in that situation find that 15 minutes, I guess, is the question, right? Is it the shower? Is that the best opportunity?
Or going for a walk. And I think, neither one of us are relationship experts, let's be honest.
Nope.
And this probably is like a whole other topic. But I think that's the thing that makes me sad about the state of relationships on the planet right now, is we don't really understand each other as like men and women, or, the partner who holds the masculine and the partner that holds the feminine, to have that polarity. And so we don't understand that we need to process things differently. Like the sitting on a couch and talking it through, like as females, that's what our brain is wired to do. Like what we're doing right now is stress relief for both of us. It's called tend and befriend. Whereas men, they do need to go and have a great workout, or go for a run, or go and putter in the garage. And so those 15 minutes for people in relationships, if we understood even just that component, to be able to support your partner in a way that's actually supportive of them, doesn't happen for a lot of people.
Right.
So I think, again, like I would love to be in a partnership. I think that's where we're a little bit different. So like I definitely see the benefits of my singlehood right now for the amount of healing I'm doing and processing and reparenting and learning how to navigate my own cortisol spikes and all of that. Like it is a gift to have space for that. And I also think in a really good, true partnership, there would be space for that. But I think we never were role modeled that.
Nope.
So, like how many, like, you can look at like knowing what I know, even around that little piece around like when men are angry, stressed, upset, tired, they need to move. Women need to talk. How many fights in partnerships have you had and watched people that you love have?
Right.
Just around that piece.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's so much to say.
I know.
I don't even know if we covered the topic.
I was just thinking that. It's like we've been all over the map.
We have been all over the map.
Just so you know, this is how our conversations normally go.
Yes.
We just bounce off each other. Yeah. So, but again, I guess to are we wrapping up?
Well, I do feel like I should share my snow shoveling
story. Okay, share your snow shoveling story.
So as I just said, I do want to be in a partnership. I think a little bit more than Angela at this point. But I am not in one. So I was very excited last Friday to finally go and get my nails done. It's like a self-care thing I love to do. We had a ton of snow and I left early, which is like also responsible of me because oftentimes I just walk out the door and I'm like, oh crap, I need to clear my car off. Guess I'm going to be late. So I was already happy that I'd left, 25 minutes to like clear my car off with snow. And I do not like the winter. And this is the first winter in a bunch of years that Angela and I have no travel planned. And it is the coldest winter that it's been in a couple of years. So just to give you context. And I'm going through some health stuff that just brings on some joint pain. So this is me. Proud. Oops, sorry, I covered my microphone. Proud of myself for being early and angry at winter. So I get out, clear off the car, and I put the car in reverse, and my front wheel gets stuck in a divot of ice. So I'm like not really out of my parking spot, but definitely not going anywhere. So I got out of the car and like there was snow, like it was just a mess. Like there was snow all the way up to the bottom of my car. My wheel was stuck. And so I had to start to dig myself out and like lying in the snow and trying to like scoop the snow from under. And I just lost it. I was like angry. I was angry at God. I'm not going to lie. I put the shovel down. There's tears like streaming down my face and I'm looking up at the sky and I'm like, why? Like, why? And I don't actually really even know now why I'm telling this story because we talked about how it was good for the podcast. But anyway, I tried for an hour to get myself out of my spot. And 3 men walked by me sobbing, and not one of them offered to help. So I came inside. I was soaking wet. I took off my clothes, crawled into bed, had a good cry. And then I texted a dear male friend of mine. And without even asking, like, without any like mansplaining or did you try or any of that, he's just like, I will be right there. And then when he got over, he gave me a big hug, which just made me cry more. And he pushed my car back into my parking spot. And I promptly went back inside and gave up on leaving the house for the day. But I think the reason we wanted to talk about this was like being single at this age.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I'm not going to lie. I had a moment of being very angry at men when those 3 men walked by and didn't help me. But then, my dear friend restored my faith in men. And I guess this story just highlighted to me that, one, as a strong woman, I think that I can do anything. And, it is very tempting, especially in our age group, to be of the, kind of that ilk of like, I don't need no man. But at the end of the day, I can do almost anything. And there are still some things I can't do. And I don't know. it's just my little story about, I guess for me, it comes back to, again, that like the grass is green no matter what side of the fence you're on, and the grass has brown patches no matter what side of the fence you're on.
Mm-hmm.
And while today we talked a lot about, like, there's great benefit of being single right now and having the space to do the healing work. And at the end of the day, I think both sexes need each other.
Mm-hmm.
And, I do know for a fact this same friend often shows up to sit on my couch to have the deep, meaningful, emotional conversations that he doesn't have male friends to do. And I guess as we're navigating all these changes in our lives, it's easy to look outside of ourselves as like, this is what the problem is. But like we said at the very beginning, nobody's coming to save you.
No, nobody's coming to save you. You get only the person in the mirror.
Yeah.
So you've got to figure out how to make that home. And I mean, I've always, like I said, I was always a rescuer. I always felt like the only way that I could be worthy is if I was doing more for other people.
Yeah.
But I've learned that that's not always the case.
Yeah.
And you should feel worthy no matter what.
Yeah. And I think for me, I've always attached my worthiness to being part of a partnership. I definitely had parents who would always ask what my husband's business was doing before they'd ask about mine. And, even when I got divorced, I dated somebody for a while, and my parents had never met him, but they would ask about his business and not mine. So I think for me, my worthiness has always been paired to being with a successful man.
Right.
And not being successful on my own.
And that's a tough one to crack, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's crackable.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's crackable. I don't know what you know what I mean.
Yes.
Angisms.
Yes. Yeah. And I think, like, again, that is coming back to a place of that I think a lot of women at this stage in our life, we kind of look at our lives, and whether you're married and the kids are leaving and now you're looking at your spouse and you're kind of going, like what? We've got nothing in common. Or if you're single and you didn't think you would be single, like it is a time of life where you just kind of go, this isn't necessarily what I thought. Now, how do I create a home that I want to live in? And whether that's your body as a home, it's your living arrangement as a home, it's your profession as a home. It's like, this is our, not to be morbid, but it's true. This is our last chapter. I want this chapter to be good and long. I want this chapter to have a ton of travel. I want to love being in this body for this final chapter, because I haven't for my entire life. And we get to create it.
And I still say, yes, you do need to decide how you want your external world to look. But if you don't tend to your internal world, forget it.
Yep.
It won't make a difference.
It doesn't make a difference.
So I hate to tell you, ladies and gents who are listening, but you got to do the work.
You do. And, I don't want to die with my magic left inside. And I think this is kind of the gift of this stage of life, is being like, what hasn't worked? And am I going to keep trying to make that work? Or am I going to actually like clean out the junk drawer, reorganize the closet, of the internal world, and like do it true to ourselves?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that, to me, that is the gift of this time of life.
And with that,
our coffees are empty.
Yes.
So hope this was an enjoyable meander for you. Feel free to leave us a comment, share this podcast, subscribe, like, do all the magic, and
let us know if there's anything else you'd like us to talk about, or discuss, or give you our opinions on, because really it's just us talking about our experience,
Yep.
not necessarily yours, but ours. And
Yep.
hopefully you find something in there that you can relate to.
Check out our website and see what upcoming events we've got going on, because we'd love to sit in a community with more women.
Perfect.
See you next time, everyone.
Ciao.